10.5 mental triggers that will help you get what you want in life. I've studied, applied, and mastered them since 2018, and I can assure you, they work. For example, in July 2020, I was part of the team of Product Launch Formula, and we used these exact mental triggers to make 2.9 million in 7 days, enrolling 1,253 students in just 1 week. Mental triggers are shortcuts to make decisions, to help other people make decisions, and I see them as a knife, an instrument. They can be used for good or for evil purposes, depending on you. Number 1, authority. People hold in high regard the opinion of others they consider to be better at something. For example, if you are searching for a cooking course, are you gonna look for a series of 10-minute YouTube videos of Gordon Ramsay? Or are you gonna ask your neighbor who works as a cook in the restaurant downstairs? Is how can you showcase authority, relevant authority in front of the audience you're trying to reach? Number 2, avoid the pain. The human behavior is moved by the need to avoid pain or feel pleasure. However, avoiding the pain is the top priority. That's why people go to the masseur when their back hurts so much they cannot withhold it, they cannot cope with it anymore. But not so many people go to get a massage when it's just for preventive treatment. It's worth mentioning that this mental trigger works much better when you know the person in front of you and you know exactly the pains they have, the problems they have in their everyday life. An example of a service that avoids the pain of the customer is sign up for our service and never go grocery shopping again. How can you communicate in statements that avoid the pain of the person in front of you? Number 3, reciprocity. Whenever someone does us a favor, our natural trend is to pay them back, right? It is not a coincidence that this powerful mental trigger is the first principle of persuasion of Robert Cialdini. You might know him for the book Influence, and he states, human beings are wired to return favors and pay back debts, to treat others as they've treated us. If your free content adds value to your customer, they will feel more likely, much more likely to buy from you, to give back in a way of buying your product, buying your service. Something I learned from Jeff Walker, the father of this billion-dollar marketing strategy called Product Launch Formula. Make your free content the second best content in the world about solving that specific pain. The first one being your product.
But Miguel, what if I give too much?
That's only a logical fear that does not exist in the world. There's no treating too well somebody. If you are asking that question, am I giving too much? What if I give too much? My question to you is, are you operating from abundance or from scarcity? A personal example of reciprocity in relationships. This message was sent without asking for it, obviously. I connected with this woman, I treated her as good as I could, and voila, one day this appears on my phone. You can read this full message and other case studies, other testimonials that I received on my website, link in the description below. So my uncomfortable question for you is how you can give so much upfront that you feel uncomfortable. You might be a little bit afraid of, am I giving too much? And I'll share a visualization that works really well for me, which is I imagine that I have 100 billion with B dollars in my bank account and that I'm gonna die in the next month. That puts me in an extremely generous state, and from there I create my marketing. From there I write books. From there I record videos like this. Try it out. Number 4, scarcity. Even expert marketers and gurus confuse it with urgency, which I'm gonna explain later in this video. The scarcity psychological trigger creates value, adds value to an item through its limitation. People feel motivated to act when they feel there won't be another opportunity to do so. For example, It is the last spot to get to this year's Burning Man, or the last seat on the flight you need to catch to get on time on your next destination to, for example, give a conference, or the last item of the product you want to buy. I use this with a one-on-one coaching service that I offer when I worked as a nutritionist. I opened 2 spots to work directly with me. $18,000 for 3 sessions with me. I had 3 phone calls and these 2 spots were quickly filled. Those sales helped me get over $100,000 in sales in the 2nd year of starting my first online business ever. Scarcity works very well. If I had offered 10 spots, 50 spots, 100 spots, I'm pretty sure I would not have sold out so quickly these 2 spots. So how can you make your opportunity, your product, your offer more scarce? And warning for novices, a mistake I made myself. The scarcity needs to be real. If it's not, people will notice, people will remember, and you will lose trust with your audience. And if you lose trust with the audience, the problem is it's really difficult to get it back. Actually, I think it's impossible to get it exactly as it was before. So, really careful, don't try to trick people, they are not stupid, act with integrity. Number 5, urgency. Urgency works like the mental trigger of scarcity. However, in this case, the price of the product is not attached to the limitation, the number of units of that product, that service, but to the time, to the deadline, the moment where the buyer can make their last decision. Urgency works wonders with discounts. Compare the following. I tell you 20% discount on this ring. Or I say 20% discount only until today at 10 p.m. Also works really well with courses structured in promotions like school classes. For example, you could say enroll before doors close tomorrow, Friday at 10 p.m. because Saturday and Sunday we'll prepare and Monday we start with the new promotion. And I can find more examples in also my personal life. For example, I'm a global citizen and I live traveling the world since November 2019. When I'm visiting a city for a short time, my friends usually put me as a priority over their friends and family to meet up with me. Why? Because they can just see me for a few days before I catch the next flight and they can see their family and friends all year round. What's the difference? Urgency. How can you add urgency to all of your offers? Also, to make it stronger, reinforce it with discounts or something that I like much more, which is exclusive bonuses, unique features and benefits that they can only get if they buy, if they take action before. So instead of making your product cheaper, you increase the value and boom, you kick in with that, you gotta act now. Number 6, affinity. The mental trigger of affinity, when put together with social proof, another mental trigger, I'll get to that in a second, motivates people to buy. After all, if somebody who had the same problem I can relate to used this product and solved it, well, why shouldn't it work for me too? It means it really works, right? Social proof does not work that well if first the prospect does not identify with the case study that you are showcasing. They will think they got the results, but they are not like me. For example, one of our clients in my first class marketing agency, Annie, she works with executives, but in the testimonials, in the social proof, we didn't put examples of executives. We said Fortune 500 executives. So we want to relate with something much more specific than just executive. So somebody is, oh, I'm a Fortune 500 executive. Boom, affinity. Remember, affinity builds trust. Trust means less fear, and less fear means more sales. How can you relate more and better with your ideal client? How can you make them know you care about them? Number 7, storytelling. Why is this mental trigger so powerful? Most people believe that our choices are really rational. I can decide this, I know what I want. We use these kind of phrases. But actually, science proves that all decisions are made emotionally and then they are rationalized, especially purchasing behavior. Instead of saying, buy this guide to lose weight, you can say, meet Maria, the single mom working double shifts that lost 100 pounds using our guide. Maria arrived home, she was destroyed, she was completely exhausted. When she arrived home, before knowing us, she binge ate everything she could find on the freezer, everything she could find on the fridge. And this feeling of, what am I doing? I'm losing control of my life. I used a lot this mental trigger when I was in the nutrition, the healthy habits business. I love to enhance it on live seminars where instead of me explaining a story about a client, meet Maria, meet Laura, meet Annie, I invited them to tell their own story. So people could connect with the words, with the emotion, with the details that they know of, that they can tell much better than anybody else, which makes the story really compelling, and people who are in the same situation say, God damn it, I'm like her, if she could do it, so can I. Furthermore, in the wealthiest circles that I am part of, I can identify something essential. It's that almost all of the members are master storytellers. How can you pick the right story from your past to tell it in a way that creates the right emotion at the right time? Before moving to social proof and share more details on these mental triggers that, for example, helped one of my students make $700,000 in 7 days, let me share with you another really powerful one. Number 8, anticipation. Did you see how I just used it? Before you answer, a side note. At the end of this video, I will share the mental triggers that I'm applying to you while recording this. You see, I did it again. This is the power of anticipation. Building anticipation is used in movies, with trailers, or with product releases like the new iPhone. In less than 2 weeks, you will get to know the investing course that will allow you to 3x, 5x, or like some of my students, 10x your money in the next 2 years. Meanwhile, take advantage and watch for free my YouTube videos on how I invest. So how can you build up desire and spark curiosity for your new product release, for a new feature on your service, or even the next date with your crush? Number 9, controversy. This can help you gain notoriety and build a community fast, really fast. This mental trigger is very delicate because too much of it can have a negative, devastating effect. For example, Andrew Tate gained millions of followers in weeks by talking in a controversial way about specific chart topics, until this controversy became too much and he got banned from mainstream social media. Another way to create, I would say, healthier controversy is to write headlines, to talk about topics that seem too good to be true. I use this often in my channel. Go check the different videos and analyze the titles and the thumbnails that I use. For example, how I turned $3,250 into $21,000 in 2 weeks with 0 followers. How I traveled the world for 1,001 days with just one 30-liter backpack. How can you spark curiosity and add a pinch of controversy in your content? And finally, the 10th and a half mental trigger, proof and social proof. Pretty similar, but a bit different. Proof is when you show evidence to back up your claims. Nowadays, I consider proof mandatory to not appear as a charlatan in front of new prospects, in friends, investors. Now, when you collect multiple pieces of proof from different people achieving the same goal, then proof turns into social proof. Social proof is the reason I buy a new product, I go to a new restaurant I never heard of before, just because I see thousands of reviews averaging 4.9 stars out of 5. It is the contemporary form of the full restaurant effect. So how can you back up every single claim that you make, as if you were a lawyer defending a case with precise, non-refutable evidence? Alright, last 60 seconds before you can go check any of these 2 videos that I will recommend you in a second after watching this one. How did I use mental triggers with you across all this video? Authority and proof, showing you screenshots of the product launch claim that I made. Reciprocity, by sharing with you, giving away for free something that I mastered, mental triggers, for 4 years, and that took me more than 50,000 euros in mentors, books, courses, programs to learn. Storytelling, by sharing stories and examples of each mental trigger. Anticipation, by sharing bits of what was coming next in the video. Oh, in a few seconds I'll talk about this. Oh, I'll share this in a second, in a minute. Oh, check out this next video. There are other mental triggers that I applied and I'm not mentioning here on purpose. Could you spot them? Share it below so you don't forget this content in the next 24 hours. By writing it, you'll remember it, and this way you will not have wasted your time. If you want to go more in depth, check my website on the link in the description below. You'll also find other resources there. And for more free content like this, check in the screen the 2 videos that I recommend to you that are a perfect combo to the video that you just watched. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasure. Miquel Gironès from Tulum. Be extraordinary. Until the next one, adeu.